Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com data break. Woohoo! Happy Friday, TGIF. Woohoo! Actually, it was kind of cool. I was talking with Liam's care team yesterday, and they were very impressed that I asked everybody around the world on our Wednesday evening shows to give karmic vibes for Liam and I. And I said to them, I don't know whether you felt the cosmic waves, but people around the world are wishing Liam a good day. He was in pretty good spirits yesterday. And it's kind of funny. He like literally starts, Daddy car ride, Daddy car ride, Daddy car ride, Daddy car ride. Like literally the minute I leave, it's just like right into Daddy car ride, Daddy car ride. So the sooner I get hooked up with Liam, remember my 3 affirmations. Liam and I are going to live together again. It is my goal in life. I'm Mr. PMA. Trying to help all you hopefully these videos. Actually, I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from people that are saying online, actually that's a funny tell, but saying online that they are getting value out of some of the little tidbits that I drop through these free shows. So if anything, that's good, Mr. PMA. And then we want to get some TRI physical campuses up and going around the world. Actually, I was super impressed. Mr. Pacific is he's made a pretty darn good case for Hawaii again. So don't be surprised if I'm going to be out on Hawaii. Anyway, it's in the good Lord hands. Wherever he wants us to have this campus, that's where we're going. But actually, I even heard Chris even said he had a fantastic conversation with Mr. Saudi Arabia today, right? Isn't that Chris? I don't know.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. Sal, if he's out there, good talk. I can't wait to potentially see him in a few weeks.
Right on. So TRI is spreading its tentacles around the world. Super excited. I love the physical sort of manifestation of this idea. And of course, we're still kicking around the idea sometime, maybe spring, summer. We'll see if we can do our sort of initial 2-week boot camp, day trader boot camp. If I understand correctly, I was a little bit MIA this morning because it's so early for me. But Chris, you were in there opening range trading today, if I'm not mistaken. I think you said that.
Yeah, I was making attempts, made a few mistakes, so I had to shut it down early. But yeah, I was in there. I was present.
Well, your trading partner kind of let you down this morning. Sorry, dude. 4:30 comes awfully early on the wet coast. I'll tell you that much by crackers. Anyway, okay, what the heck are we going to talk about here today? I got to say, I've been looking forward to our after party broadcast here today. Our special guest, we'll call you that, for a while now. We've got Cole on the call, and even his intro image is sort of like, wow, this is going to be a cool broadcast. So I'm super excited for that. Maybe Cole, you want to just say hello to the good people out there in free YouTube land? Give them a little teaser. Come on over to this site. Anyway, Cole, you here with it? Hey, there he is. I think he said hello. I don't know. I've talked too much. All right, let's keep this bus moving forward. What the heck are we going to talk about today? We had, we had like a precursor to probably the message that the Fed is going to be sort of reiterating. Of course, we've got this big FOMC meeting we've been waiting for, talked about it on the weekend shows. I was a little concerned that the whole darn market seems to be lifting into this Fed announcement, which is generally not a good thing, right? They usually say if the market rallies into the Fed, then on the other side, we could be in for some trouble. And then conversely, if the market sells off into the Fed because they're worried, usually actually that's a good thing for the other side. But you can see stock indexes are appreciably higher again. And actually interesting, the names that I even gave you here over the past week or two, man, they've been really performing, quite surprising. So the communications services, the select communication services ETF, we had a very, very pretty W bottom here. This is everything that we teach. And also too, what a big surprise that bottom came in basically right exactly where we teach you to be hunting for bottoms, reload zones. And you can see this thing is just rocking and rolling. This is a weekly chart. If I go down to a daily chart, look at that rally, rally, rally. Picture's named Sally. So, I mean, spot on analysis. This is directly out of our TRI SOF Secret Options Formula Club meeting. We meet on a weekly basis and we review ideas, and this really jumped out. I think our level 3 instructor, Zach, pointed this out from a spread trade basis, that this is a killer looking trade. And sure enough, there it goes. So congratulations to TRIers who were able to jump on that wagon. Of course, I did tell you guys about Paramount and how it's taken off like a rocket here. Interesting how Carnival Cruise Lines, and I do find this interesting. Actually, somebody over there is saying that the YouTube page is really blurry. I'm not quite sure. I think you can manually adjust the screen resolution, DMAC. I'm not quite sure. Maybe pop on the site and you can hang out in the hangout here. Yeah, so Eddie says right there, and Eddie's the boss. So Eddie is saying they should join the Zoom call. Max is 360. Yeah, that's way, way too low. I know I can go in there and change it to yeah, actually getting a bit of feedback that it's pretty blurry, eh? So yeah, probably a good idea if you want sort of a zoomed in, and I'm not quite sure why. Don't ask me about this stuff. There's probably a plot by Google or whatever to try and maximize revenue on their part. But anyway, that's here nor there. I'm just going to continue with my spiel. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, join the Zoom call if you want, and you can get this in real time. Yeah, the BCS and then that Wednesday show. But I will tell you, what's so cool is we did a Discord meeting this morning because we're gonna, some idiot told us to use the Rocket Chat years ago, and I don't know whether this is the Zoom thing, but anyway, I had a video call on Discord today. Man, it was super cool. So. Okay, let's get back on topic. Point here is it looks like the sort of blue chip techie kind of names are catching a bit of a bid. I think our first 2 weeks study kind of suggested that part of the market was going to do better anyway. Did see names like Tesla and stuff all go zooming higher. So I think they're probably feeling a little bit better about life. Keep in mind also too, we are in the January barometer reporting window, which means, as they say, as January goes, so goes the year. Let's see if I can just move. God, it's so frustrating. I know somebody had said, well, Brian, why don't you do a little bit of prep beforehand? Believe it or not, we actually get together for about 20 minutes before these shows to talk to you guys and sort of plan, but man, it never seems to work. Anyway, S&P 500, I got rid of all the drawings. Way to go, Brian. Let's see if I can bring them back. Damn it. I'm wasting time. All right, so here's our January barometer. Get rid of all this stuff. All right, and then let's, can I minimize the indicators? There we go. All right. Anyway, out of the gate, big dump, rally mid-month, sell off, tested the lows, then rallied into the highs. Looking at the full month, soft to begin with, big rally mid-month, had a bit of a pullback, actually did a WD GAN 50% retracement. Then just took off like a rocket here. And as I said, heading into that FOMC announcement, this can't be good for the other side of this. I don't know. It's in fact, I even put a tweet out yesterday. I built an indicator specifically for the stock market when I was a broker. Just to finish up this FOMC thought before I move on, although I don't know where the hell I put it. Let's see, is it over here? Yeah, I put a tweet out yesterday. I built this indicator specifically to try and keep me out of trouble from buying like overextended markets. I call this the Willie indicator. It's a modified Williams percentage R. And I got to tell you, man, it doesn't get much more overbought than that. We're almost into single digits now on this Willie here. It's a very, very dangerous market as far as I'm concerned. And what I wanted to show you, I had a chart, but I don't know what the heck I've done with it. Had a chart on here. Here we are. That shows, what did the market do recently following Fed announcements? Big face plant. Big face plant. I don't know. I mean, it seems awfully unlikely that we just keep marching our way higher here, considering that the Fed has basically said that they are planning on raising rates. They use the Canadians, I think, as sort of to telegraph sort of what the Rothschilds sort of policy is going forward, Klaus and all those idiots. And the Bank of Canada just recently raised interest rates as well. So my hunch is the FOMC is going to raise rates. I don't know. Is this what sort of like a buy the rumor and then sell the news on the other side? We have so much anecdotal evidence that's sort of saying, be careful here. The only problem is as the damn market keeps moving up, and people are like, well, why would I listen to you? The market just keeps moving up. But look at our breadth indicator. Even the teal, the slow moving average now has an outright M working on it. Oh, goodness, this looks bad. So I don't know what the other side of this Fed announcement date is, but I'm not feeling very good about this. Thought it was also interesting too. I don't know if I can find it or not, especially just quickly surfing through all this. But I did see a headline earlier today about Miss Pelosi and her selling her Google stock and how that was supposed to be a really bad sign. Because keep in mind, remember Mr. Nancy? And all of his wonderful stock trading. And I guess, is she still a member of Congress? Does she still have to report? And does her husband still have to report his insider trading activity? I don't know. But the point here is I did see references to Miss Pelosi selling positions in Google, which can't be a good sign. In fact, actually, I don't even know what Google looks like. But considering the picture quality on Google and you guys complaining about how maybe they're kind of screwing us over a little bit, maybe that makes sense. I don't know. But let's just for, I don't know, for fun, let's go see what, actually, is this even what it's called? Goog? I think that's what it's called. That's not a bad looking chart. I suppose if we M out here, then we're back in the pooper. It's not terrible looking. It looks relatively, I tell you, I don't know what it is. I don't know which one it is, but this communication sector ETF, that looks way better. See how that's already broken out? The only problem with this is we have a rule at TRI that you really don't want to take a trade unless you get an actual W on the other side of this trend line. That's the thing that has me concerned right now. And also, too, you see how there are big price gaps down below here. So could we get like a pullback following that Fed announcement and then we get our W and away we go? It wouldn't surprise me, folks. It really wouldn't. This looks awfully dangerous up top here. I wouldn't buy up here. That's for sure. And that also is the same message with Bitcoin. I mean, I just can't come in and buy something that looks like that there. That's impossible for me. Having said that, market can remain illogical far longer than any of us can remain solvent. So just understand, you got to follow your plan. I was quite pleased. This is a good example where there is one that did break out. It gave us a nice little pullback, stepped in where I'm supposed to be buying W's, and that's working out pretty well. So I don't mind names like that. Just try not to chase, and just remember that the market could pull back on a moment's notice. Also notice this Matic. This is one that we've been in a while now. It's actually got a nice little bullish bot setup working. So through the weekend, could we see a little bit of continuation in crypto here heading into that event? I think so. And then also too, good old Zugi. I'm worried about Zugi. This is the same story that about the stock market. It's almost exactly the same, where we're ridiculously overbought. We don't get overbought like this very often, folks. I mean, you look back over history, Willie did not technically go stupid here. Willie did not technically go stupid through here. And still, boom, boom. Now we are officially stupid. Could this thing take a month or two just to clean itself up? I think so. In the short term, could we have some sort of blow off top through this weekend? Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. Can I justify coming in and buying that there? No, can't do it at all. Just can't do it. Sucks. Just can't do it though. So, that's sort of the state of the market right now. I think probably the way I would describe this is too late to buy, but probably a little bit too early to outright sell. That's probably the way that I would look at this. Also, too, and I thought this was an interesting side. This is kind of how I'm looking at the market. I've always liked these CIS guys. I think when I first saw the interviews with them years ago, I thought they had a pretty good attitude, right? And if we actually look at something like a log scale chart here, you might look at this and say, that's actually looking pretty cheap. We're at the bottom end. Whoops, sorry. We're at the bottom end of the range, right? We're coming against previous lows. This is looking pretty respectable. What I'm worried about here is you can kind of see, I've talked to you guys about this before, right? We should make like a saucer bottom. So, maybe we're going to do something along these lines. If you look at this from a logarithmic scale, though, this is what scares me about this market is, technically this low, and this is what Julian often talks about this, is, we might have nice little rallies that spit out doubles and stuff in here. And if you can get yourself from free coins, I highly, highly recommend it. But don't be surprised when we come into the fall here. This guy could very easily lose half of its value, if not more, just coming back down and testing these previous key lows. And I'm a little worried that, we're going to get all lulled into, hey, it's a new bull market and rah, rah, rah. And then this fall, I've told you, I still think that there's going to be a showdown with the either with Vladdy. I mean, now it's incredible watching these YouTube videos. If you listen to Russian state media, they're basically saying that now Germany is at war with Russia. Oh, goodness. It's deteriorating in front of our eyes. And now I'm hearing that old man Biden's actually sending American Abrams tanks to Ukraine. Oh, Jesus. Just ratchet the temperature up a little bit more, please. So maybe that's where we all head into like a nuclear Armageddon here. Who knows? I don't know. I don't think it goes down those lines, but I do think that the right-wing political party down in the States is going to try and at least make it look like they're trying to curtail the runaway, ridiculous bankster reflation of our society here. I heard, by the way, I heard the other day, or actually yesterday, while driving with Liam, Vancouver real estate now is the most expensive in Canada. I'm not sure if it's the most expensive in North America, but it's definitely most expensive in Canada. And there's no slowing down. It's quite remarkable what's happening here. Real estate prices themselves have topped out, but now they are just killing rents. I mean, it's staggering the amount of money that they're asking on a monthly basis for accommodation here in Canada. So substitute drama teachers have completely destroyed the Canadian economy. And I've said to you repeatedly that I think Canada is a short. And sadly, I think what ends up happening is it's like Canadian standard of living is a short. Because the banksters own everything, they're not going to let prices go down, but they're going to hyperinflate things like rents and food and transportation, fuel crisis. I've told you guys recently that I'm actually it's good to see crude oil prices finally coming off here, but I'm noticing prices at the pump are starting to crank back up here in Vancouver, which Vancouver is a weird market, but nonetheless, you can already start to see the sort of by the middle of February, sell the middle of May trade coming. So anyway. Specifically with regard to econs, like I said, we've got the Fed coming up here, so that's really dominating the conversation right now. Is there anything that came out today that would change their mind? Core PCE, this is the basically the Fed's preferred inflation measure, although it's highly suspect in my opinion. It's sort of coming back down to levels that years ago the Fed would dream about having 0.3% monthly month over month core PCE, because this is ideally where they want the market. The interesting thing is they were actually expecting it to come in at 0.1, so it actually is still running much hotter than I think even the market was expecting. Personal income ticking up, which is okay, not as much as expectations. I guess personal spending, though, because this is a consumer-based economy, you can see that the consumer spending is taking it on the chin with this hyperinflation environment that we're in. So as a result, I think kind of a sanguine kind of mood in the market. Because PCE is still relatively firm, and you can see PCE price index sitting at 5%. Expectations were 5.1, so basically in line. Remember, Mr. Druckenmiller says that really this sort of Fed increasing policy, it can't end until you actually see Fed funds above these inflation numbers, and we're getting up into that area. If I'm not mistaken, I think Fed funds right now sitting at about 4.25, something like that. So maybe one more hike, and then we'll start seeing that the Fed funds will actually be higher than the actual printed inflation rate, and then that means that they can cool off a bit. What is interesting was sort of waffly. Then we had Michigan consumer sentiment numbers come out, and actually we have one trader on our day trading room who's built a whole trading plan around just following how the market acts between 6:30 and 7. I have to say, I'm very impressed. I like that kind of thinking. I used to always, as a broker, have a rule: never trust the first hour of trading in any kind of environment. And sure enough, days when you have the University of Michigan consumer sentiment numbers come out, you often see a pivot right around that window. And I think that's what we saw here this morning. Like, we were all heading in one direction. Yeah, you can sort of see it. This is just a half-hour chart. You can see the PCE number came out. Market actually put in a bit of a bottom. Then we had the University of Michigan numbers come out. Market pulled back. You can see the S&P 500 breaking up to new highs. Interesting disconnect. A lot of the communication services. I don't know whether has anybody got the first 2 weeks study handy? If I'm not mistaken, I think the first 2 weeks of the quarter showed that the consumer discretionary, technology, communication services was going to outperform, which of course tells us, sort of where we are in the economic cycle. And I think you can see that. You can see that NASDAQ, communications services, of course, would be in that. Google. Probably if we look at FinViz, we saw this yesterday. Remember, we saw Tesla go zooming higher. And of course, Tesla came out with numbers, and the Tesla numbers, where the hell is Tesla on here? Did they move it around? Oh, that's interesting. Did they change this? They might have. Tesla had a really big update yesterday. I think it was up like almost 10%. Oh, there we are. It's way over there. So, and then Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, right? It looks like they're all getting a little bit of traction in here. Gotta say this, what? I love this, running this website. It's so bloody cool. This guy, Julian, I think he's going to take over the damn world. And of course, he's over there on KuCoin. I don't have an account on KuCoin, and he's just killing it. Look at that. Bang down another double. This Julian, I think, is channeling Brian from like 2016, 17, when I was just banging out doubles every week. I'm not nearly as active in the altcoin space as I used to be, but it's great to see. I mean, we always say there's always a bull somewhere. So fantastic work. You are awesome. This is the reason why I built this site, folks. It really is. It's to try and help you guys and try and change the whole framework of the way this damn capitalist system works. Empower you small people. And then what we're going to find is Julian's going to become the next like big mutual fund Peter Lynch kind of guy. And it's interesting because I do have some graduates that have gone on and they kind of disappear from the public site because they're like, Brian, I've made so much money. I don't need to talk to the public. Why bother? They're idiots. So, but I didn't say that. They said that. Not me. Not me. Oh, this is interesting. Look at this. Canada records $3.55 billion budget deficit over the first month of 22-23. Did I mention that Canada was a short? Canada's supposed to be running like massive surpluses, not deficits, you stupid substitute drama teacher idiots. Completely destroying our country. Anyway, that's another conversation for another day. Okay, how are we doing here? 9:28. Let's see. So did anybody, anybody got that first 2 weeks study? I mean, I suppose I could quickly put it on here. Let's see if I can do that. What do I want? I want stockcharts.com. Suppose Cole, if you don't mind, just give me another. I'll have to add a minute or two on to the end of this presentation. Let's see what we got here. Just give me a moment to load this sector ETF. So, if you're watching this channel for the first time, you've never seen this before, and you're kind of like, I want to get some value out of this guy. I'm watching for free. I want free. Well, here's a really cool little free tidbit for you. They often say that the mutual fund managers, they get a whole bunch of money given to them at the very beginning of every quarter. And so if we just sort of listen to what the heck they're doing the first week or two of the quarter, we get a pretty good idea of where they think the market's going. So, obviously with the holiday, so let's go maybe till the 13th, first couple of weeks, give these fund managers enough time to put their money to work. So there is the 13th. And yeah, you notice discretionary communication services. Interesting outlier, materials and energies. I was wondering what the heck, why is this in here? Because actually, real estate doing well, discretionary doing well. Of course, you saw Tesla there rocking it, right? Tesla just had an absolutely monster day yesterday. You can see Amazon's kicking it. Is Tesla up another 8% on the day? So just booming here. That is basically consumer discretionary. You don't really have to buy an electric car if you don't need to. So anyway, that falls into sort of that discretionary camp. But more importantly, where are we on the economic cycle? So here's real estate, here's technology, here's discretionary, there's communication services. I get the impression we're sort of like I think we're kind of like at the tail end of whatever this sort of recessionary talk is. And I hate to say it, but if you look at this January barometer, and this is where you got to sort of listen to the market's message. A lot of people don't want to listen to the market's message. They don't want to hear what the market is trying to tell us. I tell you that I think the market is trying to tell us that we could have a pretty big up year in the stock market. So, call me crazy. I do think that we're probably going to have a bit of a pullback. I mean, it would just be natural. I suppose now that we've gone to new highs, we can draw our levels up here. 50% retracements, just a revisit of these key lows that you saw. That to me seems completely natural. If we just have a nice little pullback against this trend line support, which seems logical too, I got a funny feeling. I mean, who knows how the hell this looks, but it's probably something along those lines as we work our way through February. And remember, the cliche goes, by the middle of February, who knows how the rest of that goes. By the middle of February, sell the middle of May, which is a long time out, right? Well, I'm darn. Let's go back to daily. So by the middle of February, that's over here, sell the middle of May. That's all the way up there. I mean, I don't know how big this rally is, but when actually I even did put a tweet up to this effect. I can you can just sort of feel it coming. I mean, call me crazy, but this is the tweet that I put out last night, and I feel very confident about this. You can see all these price gaps up top here that need filling in. Well, I guess not really here, but that gap right there, this big gap right there, it looks like that's filled, but maybe not. There's reload zones. This is everything that we teach in our education program. This is a ABCD. Could we get a nice little rally into the spring up into this level? I absolutely think so. I don't see any reason why not. So maybe a little bit of a pullback, maybe even come back, fill in this gap to the downside into that early February, sort of March window. You know, if I understand correctly, I think Vladdy's getting ready for some sort of big military push there in February. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get a little bit of a pullback. I don't know about any congressional votes or anything on the debt ceiling, but I suppose that's floating out there as well. And then, you know, interesting, nobody's talking about it, but how's that whole sickness situation over in China going? Is it getting worse? Is it getting better? I don't know. I do know that in 2020, back in like December, January, Julian was even warning us about this. You know, the pandemic, this stuff is real. And sure enough, by sort of middle of January, end of January, beginning of February, they were starting to really freak out here in North America. And actually, I even tweeted out, I thought it was fascinating, kind of a social commentary more than anything else. But I like this guy's free speech. I don't necessarily agree with everything that he says, but I definitely like free speech. You should, you know, in this 21st century society, for God's sakes, we should be at the point where we have some sort of free speech. And it was fascinating how Mr. Doofus here basically came out. He recorded it and he had to do it on Rumble because if he showed it on YouTube, he would have been banned. But Mr. Doofus here actually publicly said these vaccines are basically a waste of time. Dick. Oh, well, what can you do? All right, I didn't say any names or anything, but if you want a conspiracy sort of, like I even said, you better get your tinfoil hat on ahead of time. But I do like the free speech angle. And keep in mind, a lot of what this guy does is he's trying to trigger you to get you to do other things. So great analogy of that. So anyway, be careful here. And like I said, we're in the quiet period for the Fed. PCE numbers still come up a little bit stronger than I think the Feds would like, which leads me to believe that we're probably going to see rate increases. I don't see anything slowing down on that. And as I showed you before, yes, you know, the market's getting bid up into that event, but, you know, even Bitcoin itself has a history, just even over the past few rate increases, that once we get on the other side of that FOMC event, we better be careful here. So, as I had said before, you know, you can see the W. It's as plain as day. Do you want to come in on the buy side up top here? I personally would prefer to see a bit of a consolidation, and then maybe we can do things like hunt bot continuation setups. But for now, I'm just going to be cooling my jets. All right. Chris, was there anything in particular I was supposed to talk about that I missed here today?
I think you covered it nicely. We can head over to Cole very shortly, but I think we did a good job today.
All right. Thank you, sir. As Chris pointed out there, and as I was talking about right off the broadcast, we got a super cool presenter here today. I've been waiting and looking forward to this presentation myself for a little while. So I'm going to let you guys go because I want to get over it. I want to listen to Cole. Come on over and join the site. Our special presentators, Wednesdays and Fridays, just knock the cover off the ball. Fantastic conversations, value added out the butt. And of course, what I want you to be is everybody, you be like Ulian. Ulian, you are the man. Oh, God, this guy is so awesome. And another one of these crazy Romanians. I don't know what it is about the Romanians, but man, they are good traders. So congratulations, Ulian. Come on over, join our community. You might learn a thing or two from our presenters. You might learn how to trade like a boss like Julian, and you might just have a good time. I'll put a smile on your face. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. All the best, and bye for now.